All right, so let's get going. So the first video tonight is this is a funny one. So I feel like I'm in a Mafia pinch here. I'm totally kidding, Ricky. Ricky and Franky, like Frank Bagolie and his mom Razura. They sent me the video, right? And they said that you're gonna do a little video critique, or else we'll break your knees, something like that. And so we will do this. Watching this, then off to deliver a String King head to our String King guy, then coffee and cannoli to finish a busy day. Excellent. That's a good day. So one of the things I've started with, we're going to do in the group at Creating Lacrosse Goalie of the Future. So if you're not a member of Creating Lacrosse Goalie of the Future, come join, answer the questions. It would shock you how large our group would be if I actually let everybody in. Like it would be double in size. Okay. And I just have that one simple thing: answer 3 questions. If you can't answer the 3 questions, you don't get in. That's it. So all those people that are just like they're elsewhere, I guess, or they're just like they forgot they wanted to help their goalie, so they didn't make it in. But so one of the things that I'm going to start doing is we'll do micro clip coaching. So I'm calling this micro clip coaching, where if someone has a cool little clip of their goalie, something that's interesting in the group, I will add it to our Facebook Lives on Wednesday, which I think will be a lot of fun, right? And so this first one is pretty cool because Franky is Franky Bagolie. Frankybags is a good little goalie. And where did I put that? Where am I? There it is. All right. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to turn down the volume on my end because there's people screaming in the video. You guys can't hear it, which is cool. So I thought we'd start off with this one. So this is good. So Franky Bagolie is a 2025, and with a name like Bagolie, why shouldn't he not be our first clip, like our first micro clip? You know, Franky Bagolie, the goalie. Like it's all good, right? And go have a cannoli. And if you're from Staten Island, you know, maybe we pick up your garbage, maybe we don't. You know, just don't rub us the wrong way. All right, so Franky, I have not worked with Franky, okay, but his dad is a great contributor to our group, Ricky, and this is I thought it was a pretty cool little clip. So I'm going to play this through for you, and we'll play it through once. And ball side left, side right there. And Franky's a 2025, right? And picks up the ball, gets it off to his D, lets his D run with it, and his D runs into trouble. But then there's so many great things about this one little clip, and I wanted to bring it out because I want your goalie, and that's going to be our ABC hockey clip here shortly. Okay, so I'm going to rewind this a little bit. And so listen, you know, sometimes one thing that parents do, and I'm not saying that any of you guys have done this, but one thing parents do is they see a goalie make a save and they say, "Great save, goalie," and then it's like that's it, right? You know, we've basically said this is a great job, and we couldn't have done it any better. So my job as a coach is to look at goalies and say, all right, how can we done that better? Because my job with my goalies is I'm not trying to get you to win in high school. I want you to be a recruitable goalie that can play in college, right? And so so I tend to be pretty critical about stuff, right? Because that's why we're here, right? We're trying to learn, we're trying to get better, and so feelings aside, like there's we're just trying to get to a result. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. So I'm gonna just toggle this through a little bit, and this is awesome. So one of the things I love, I like about Franky's game is that he's athletic. Okay. And so he's an athletic goalie and he's able to move laterally and he's got good, strong hips. Okay. And so that's one of the things that's really important here. And as you watch this clip and you watch him move, so he's facing the ball everywhere and he's just moving laterally. Right. And so I can tell that he's got good, strong hips. Now, I don't necessarily know what he's done to do that. But your goalie can get slide board work. It can there's any number of things a goalie can do to improve that, and so this is one of the things that impresses me about him is that he's a strong goalie. The other thing that really impresses me is that when he gets the ball on his stick, is that he knows what to do with it, and he can cradle this thing, and he's mastered it, and you can just tell by the way he handles that stick that one, he's strong in his hands and his fingers. Okay, and by the way, I haven't shown this to you guys in a while. But this is down. Oh, just dropped it on my toe. Right. One of the best things, if you want to make your goalie stronger, one of the best things you can invest in is a 4-pound sledgehammer from Home Depot. or Lowe's if you like that, or the local hardware store. But having there's a 4-pounder and there's also a 2-pounder, and just like having your goalie like work this in their hand. They don't need a stick, they don't need a ball, but the idea is that you get this thing working in your fingers to the point where we're improving the hand strength. Because I've told this before, but if your goalie just does nothing but wall ball and they grip the stick like that, like they're choking it, they're not actually developing their fingers, which allows for the dexterity of the stick. And that's what we want, right? We want dexterity of the stick. And if your goalie doesn't have dexterity of the stick, then they're not going to be very good like cradling the ball. Okay. And Franky does a really good job of that here. So now a couple things that happen in this play. So one, Franky watches the ball side left, and then pass comes all the way across the cage. Now listen, when a pass comes across the front of the cage, boys or girls, your defense is kind of crappy, right? So that really shouldn't happen. But what's great is that when it does happen, we want our goalie to be strong enough to get there across. And Frank does a great job of whipping across, right? He's got one crossover step, but he gets there. And then the good news here is that the attackman kind of takes himself out of the play because he's behind the goal line. And what that does is the second that ball carrier goes behind the goal line, it allows the goalie to now be able to get himself back in a position to get back up front. And he does. And this is where I noticed the strength in Frank's hips. Like, that's really cool. And then from here, he comes out at the shooter. That little hop right here, that little hop out makes a big difference. Now, what that does is it forces the shooter. One, it makes Frank bigger in the cage, and Frank's not a big dude. Okay, he's a little cannoli, not a big cannoli. So this one little hop there brings him out and really takes away the bottom of the cage. So the shooter is more inclined to now look upstairs. Now, Frank's top hand is a little high in this case for me, but he brings it. He knows with his size that he's given up more upstairs. And so as this player gets closer to the cage, the options the player has to shoot at go away. Okay, the options the player has to shoot at go away. And so Frank then comes out again. And here, so as you guys know, I'm not a fan of stepping to the ball. However, there are times when a player, an offensive player, boy or girl, puts themselves in a position where, as a goalie, we know they don't have much to shoot at, and we're going to attack their stick head. And that's exactly what he does here. So boom, right? He comes out, he actually drops his hand, right? Gives this, now he knows he's got a lot of exposed net above him. And also when a goalie lunges, they get shorter, right? So the idea here is that Frank's strong enough to get right back up and makes the save, right? And then stays with it and juggles a little bit like that. I love this little pop. But then right there, so when a goalie makes a save like this, as soon as a goalie knows that they're going to have possession of the ball, they should yell clear. And so what happens here is, like, I look at 42, this defenseman right here, and he's looking back at the goalie. I want my defense to be trained like seals at the zoo or a bunch of well-trained dogs. So that the second they hear me yell clear, they take off. And this is true for both the boys and the girls. And this is often undercoached or not coached at all. The idea is that your goalie is directing the D, and they should be able to trust the communication of the goalie in such a way that if I yell clear, they go. They realize the ball's taken care of, and they're going. They're out of here. Okay. And so 42 is kind of staring back at Frank there, and really that's a couple lost steps right here. But right here, he sees that Frank's gonna have the ball and he goes. But I want my D to be able to do that even if they're not looking at me. Right? I want to be able to yell clear and they just go. Right. So this is cool. Everybody takes off. But I want to just point out this defenseman. All right. I want to just point out this guy right here. We all know this defenseman, right? Right. He's looking back at the goal. He's like, oh, Frank's got the ball. Oh, yeah, we're good. I'm just going to walk out of here and I'm just going to look upfield. Okay, but that's a problem. That's a problem because Frank right away has an attackman in his face. Okay. When your goalie, and they're even strength, I believe they're even strength in this play. Like, so when the goalie has a player in their face, boys or girls, whoever was being guarded by that player needs to come back at the goalie. needs to make themselves available because that's the person who's open. So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to print this up on T-shirts. Draw and dump. Draw and dump. When a goalie has a player in their face, they have just drawn a player. So their dump, the person they need to dump the ball to, needs to make themselves available. Now, if they're running up the field without looking at you, you should hit them in the small of the back. Like, you should make that pass right into the small of the back, just above the waistband, where it's not, even on someone who's got a few extra pounds, there's not a lot of padding there, right? That's where you want to hit them, right? You just want to hit them smack in, or right, depending on the shoulder pads they're wearing. For the girls, you can just throw it away. But if you hit them between the shoulder blades, like right there, where it's kind of hard to scratch, like you got to have somebody to help, you want to make the pass right there. Why? Because you never want them running up the field looking away from you ever, ever, ever again. And you want to teach them a lesson. So I hope everybody's getting my sarcasm, but the bottom line is, like, your goalie has total permission to basically hit this guy in the crack of the butt, so he never does this again. Because Frank's outlet here is one of these two guys, preferably 21, because he's the short stick, but even the long stick. Because now what Frank does here is Frank is now leaning to the right, and so he's making a pass basically to a covered defender. Okay, so now. As athletic as this goalie is, like, I hate wasting a really good athletic goalie. So the pass that he makes here off to this long pole is not necessarily the pass. And I think the second he makes it, he realizes, like, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Because now 66, there's just still running up, not looking at anybody. He's like, get me a water. Who brought the orange peels or the orange slices for halftime? All right, can't wait for those orange slices. There he goes. All right, but now we're kind of in trouble, because as a goalie, I think the person that understands the clear the most is the goalie. When we ditch the ball to a long pole, now we're assuming that they know just as much as we know, and that they're going to be able to do this as well from the corner of the field as we are. And that's not true. Okay, that's just totally not true. As smart as defense are, they're not spending as much time thinking about this as we are, and we have more control. So I'm going to encourage a goalie like Franky to hold on to that ball and go around the back of the cage. Right? Go around the back of the cage, create some space, see if number 5 will follow you, and then we're going to use that crease to basically create some distance and then bust up fields. And a goalie like Franky, I can make a fast break with a goalie like Frank like any day of the week, right? Basically, every time we make a save, we want that other team to go, that was a bad idea, okay? So Frank's got the ball. He dishes it out to 14. And now, like, I know 14's like really good, and he's like got the green helmet with like the tape shaft or that like extra special shaft. But now he curls away, and 66 is still not looking. 66 has no clue what's going on behind him, right? So he's kind of useless. All right. And then up we go. All right. So now Frank's like, oh, wait, pass it to 60. Oh, wait, 66 isn't looking, or maybe it was 21. Frank's hoping, like, oh, I should have made that pass. Right. So now 14 with the ball, who goes just off screen, 14 with the ball now has to dodge a guy with a long stick. And you know what? The best long stick defenders, best stick skills, they're still going to have a little bit of trouble getting around a shorty, especially if the shorty's quick. So 14 comes upfield, and now he's basically, we're now in a 1-on-2. And as a goalie, I'm going, this sucks, right? I kind of made this pass. I've now put my defender in a 1-on-2, and this is not a good position to be in. But what I love here, what Franky does, is he's right in the play. All right. He is thinking all about, he's like, I'm part of this too. Like, let's go. Right. Let's go. Right. You just drew my man. I drew your, like, now it's like, I'm open. Right. And that's what we want from your goalie, boys or girls. I want the goalie to be like, I am part of this. Let's get out of here. Let's make them pay. Right. So I love this about Frank here, that he's up, that he's right up in the play, and then he's looking, like, he takes a peek. He's like, okay, if I get the ball, where's this going to go? Where's this going to go? Where, if I get the ball, where do I got to go next? Right? Where's the 2-on-1? Because right now I'm looking at my buddy who's in a 1-on-2, and that's not good math, right? That's like Enron accounting, right? We don't need that. All right. So Franky, as this play progresses, this long pole, now he's trying to split two guys, basically because 66 is looking for the orange slices, right? And that's trouble. So what happens here, guys, is that as athletic as our goalie is, he kind of makes not the best decision, but the overall team environment around them, both the goalie and now in this first long pole, is horrible. It's not supportive. All right. So this always really frustrates me. Okay, as a coach. Right. And a lot of work what I do with the goalies who are my coaching clients is that we work on like, okay, how do you navigate, a clear when your team hasn't really been taught to clear very well. Right. And so, and then that's where parents go like, oh, don't be so hard on them. They've been taught to clear. By what I'm seeing on this clip, not really. Okay. Not really. Okay. So that's not cool. All right. So, but as this play progresses now, the Frank is in the play and he comes back and he's just ready to go. He's an outlet. That long pole realizes he's not as fast as he thought he was. He turns around and then he finally makes the pass. That that probably Frank should have made in the beginning. Okay. So what I want to just kind of cover here is that in plays like this, what happens sometimes is everybody gets really excited. Okay. The goalie gets excited. He's like, oh, I stopped that. I made this big save. Yes. Everybody's like pumped. Yeah. The parents on the sideline are like, yo, go Franky. And then the goalie's excited and he's like, yeah. And what happens is the internal clock, right? The internal clock of the 4 seconds, or for the girls, the 10, goes super fast, right? And the possession, the count, the 4-second count starts when you get possession. Not so even when Frank's like juggling this ball, he doesn't have possession yet. Okay. So right there, 1,000, 2,000. So he releases that ball at 2,000 to basically back right. This is like basically it's side right, but basically in the terms of the clear, it's back right. It's not the pass. We want to be making passes at 1,000 and 2,000 to midfielders. At 3,000. So, and in those 1 and 2, those first 2,000s, we recognize if there's a player in our face, right? And there is. So then, if there's a player in my face, I'm looking for someone to be available. And so at 3,000, I'm making that decision. But if I don't see that player, then I'm going out the back of the cage, because if I look to my right, this long pole is covered, right? This long pole is covered. And if I look to my left, that long pole is covered, right? So on the far side, you see that attacker, and then 1, 2, 3. So this is called a hard ride. I call this a hard ride. It used to be called a hard ride. Depending on where you are, it's probably some weird name. But anyway, it's a hard ride. So I would rather have a goalie, especially as athletic and as good with a stick as Frank is, to back out the back of the crease right down the goal. Right. So what I mean by that is that, and I think we talked about this last week or the week before, is that, we want the goalie to go right down that V and then to pop over the back of the V and come out the other side. Why? Because that attackman has to come all the way around. Right. And then by the time you notice, oh, you're chasing me. All right. See ya. And off they go. Okay. So that's really how I would have liked to seen this go. But what I just want to point out some of the great things here. One, with a goalie like Frank, you've got a very athletic goalie with good stick skills. Your team should be thinking offense pretty much off of every single save. And this is where a lot of coaches completely miss this opportunity. They're like, yeah, we got a good little goalie there. Yeah, that's sweet. Oh, hey, Franky, nice save, buddy. Yeah, good job, buddy. And then it's like coaches are thinking about offense once they get the ball in the offensive half, but really your coach should be thinking offense the second your goalie gets the ball. And your goalie needs to be thinking that the save is just one part of this. It's the first half of the real game for them, right? Right. So we made the save. Now let's go. Right. Let's go. Because just off this little clip, I can tell you that this team does not respect the power, the potential of their goalie as much as it's there. So that's really, if anybody's got any questions on this or anything you want to add, go ahead and leave them in the comments. For my Instagram folks, I apologize. This is kind of, you can't really see what I'm doing here on the screen. You just hear me. But if you watch the replay on Facebook or on YouTube, it'll be there shortly. And make sure you're on the newsletter and you'll get it right to your inbox. Okay. So, so this is really cool. So Frank and Ricky and Rizzoro and all of your Italian friends that may have some cannolis, I appreciate you sending in the clip. So here's the deal: if you want to have me do a clip of you in the future, join Creating the Lacrosse Goalie of the Future, the group on Facebook, and then you'll see our micro clips. Okay, and then you'll see the link to the micro clips link, and then you can submit your clip, and we'll do it. All right, so be good. All right. So 27:30. Making some notes here. All right, good stuff. All right, that's 1, 2. Moving on. Okay, if you like that, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a heart, give me a little love thing. That'd be great. No. Who said throw it and get goalie interference free clear? No. The goal is not a free clear. The goal is a fast break. The goal is a goal. The goal is offense. With a goalie like Franky, we should have like basically a fast break down the center of the field. Franky should have like 12 points, like 9 assists and 3 goals by the end of the season. If I'm coaching that kid, that's what's happening. So no. Who said that? I can't even see who said that. You're in the group and you're hiding in the group and the links aren't going through. And who is that? Greg Lapp. Come on, you know better, Greg. Slap him. There you go. Ben Stone watching this, then off to deliver String King head. Nice. Very cool. Oh, so you're the one with the cannolis. Ann, I see you. It's a great call today, Ann. Good stuff. That was a lot of fun. All right. Chris Hess is good. Chris Hess writes, I tell our U11 goalie offense starts with him, and he believes it. That's the kid that's going to end up college, and other teams aren't going to know what's going on. That's seriously the clearing, the goalie who can think offense. That's where I believe that we are changing the game of lacrosse one goalie at a time. And part of it is by encouraging your U11 goalie or U12 goalie, whatever, to be. I've got a high school goalie right now who's late to the game. He did not start lacrosse until late, and we've worked together now for a few weeks. And in those 3 weeks, 4 weeks, this is a kid that went from just learn how to stop the ball to now he's a super threat on offense, right? So that's what we want. Okay, that's the lacrosse goalie of the future. That's what happens. Okay, all right, guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.